My name is Charlotte Strayer, and today I'll be addressing questions 3, 4, and 6. To begin with question 3, the social structure of racism, especially in the medical world, the death rates of black women in natal care are much higher than white women. In 2021, the death rates of white women was 26.6, whereas the rate of black women's maternal death was 69.9. I think that this exemplifies social structure and life chances because it is life or death. The institution of the policing system, more black men die than white men, and speaking personally as a white woman, I drive without fear of my life being taken by an officer, but a childhood friend of mine who happens to be a black man does not have that privilege. Continuing on a similar track with question 4, to me, a key way sociologists study constructs is social stratification. An example of this from class that really stuck to me was the idea of instead of higher divorce rates being a failure of the institution, but from the general female perspective, it meant freedom. It meant women could access financial freedom or have legal precedence over their bodies, healthcare, and children. Women's access to freedoms that white men had for decades meant freedom to some. For others, though, white women leaving the house meant more work for black women. The white woman's emancipation meant more work, and a grueling work for black women. The political and economic power of the white woman is trumped by the man, but the power of the white woman trumps the black woman. Lastly, in question 6, my position in society is obviously influenced by my gender, my parents' educational background, and my parents' socioeconomic status. Because my parents went to school and got bachelor degrees, I was able to grow up in a house with a mostly stable income. I didn't worry about money. I knew we weren't rich, but I wasn't worried about having a home, food, or my most basic needs met. This meant I could focus on school, try extracurricular activities, and feel safely in my environment. However, because of my gender, I wasn't called upon as much when I had questions, and my questions were either too difficult or invalid. And I went until sophomore year of high school to be diagnosed with a learning disability because my struggle with math just wasn't anything to look at. I just wasn't trying hard enough. Despite my appearance on my father's side, my family is Hispanic. I acknowledge, however, I grew up as a white, cisgendered woman in an incredibly red state during incredibly rocky political times. When my darker little brother was getting called racial slurs in the locker room, I never had my citizenship questioned. I have benefited from and will continue to benefit from institutions such as racism, which I think is the most important part of this. My life is easier because other people have to struggle.